Welcome back to the Joe Outdoors podcast. I'm Justin. I got my cohort, Chad. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, man?
And today we have the one, the only StoneFly Outdoors.
What is up, everybody?
Where are you at today, brother?
I'm in Pennsylvania right now, man. North Central PA, beautiful country. Just living the dream, man. Living the dream.
I can never track you down, man. You were like in Arizona, then you're in North Carolina, now you're in PA, and everywhere you go, I just see you catching some damn fish.
You have to be an enigma. That's the secret to life, is being an enigma.
I like it, man. Well, so today we're introducing you as one of our collaborators and co-hosts, and I think you're going to cover such topics as beard growing.
I mean, you got to. Everyone has beard oils and this and that. Be a man. I'm growing it right now, man. Just grow your beard out.
I like it, man. I like it. I would do that, but I can't, so I did this little stupid thing here.
I like your stash. You have a good stash.
Thanks, brother. So, you know what? Today's more about StoneFly Outdoors. We want to talk a little fly tying because we've got some plans with you down the stretch here, and I think we're going to do some coaching and teaching to some folks that want to get into some fly tying. Obviously, you're an angler, and you'll be covering some ground around the country, doing some fishing and kind of reporting back. You're involved in just about everything we're doing here. So I think today the best thing we can do, and I'm sure Chad agrees, is give some people the background on you, man.
Oh man, where do I start? So I'll give the long and the skinny about it. Grew up, born and raised North Carolina, right there in the country. I like the viewers will find out pretty quick. I'll throw out some random facts about anything and everything. So the mountains that I grew up in are actually the oldest in North America, the Uwharrie Mountains. There's nothing older by millions of years. So it was a great area to grow up in. Good river fishing, good pond fishing, good lake fishing. The whole western county line of where I grew up is all lakes. So you have Baden Lake, then you have Falls Dam, Falls Reservoir, Middle Lake, whatever you want to call it. Then you have Lake Tillery, and then it goes down. So where I grew up, you fish. That's what you do. Everyone grows up fishing. Everyone grows up hunting, and that was where my spark came from, was growing up around it. My grandfather was a very well-known fisherman in the area, and that really translated into my young adult life. So I went in the military, did a little bit of time in the Army, got out, and then did oil field for about 12 years. And I ended up in East Tennessee, and that is when I got introduced to fly fishing. My buddy Chris, that's my brother, guy I've grown up with forever. I'll actually, give a little shout out to him. Pineland Daddy is his Instagram tag. And he got me into Tenkara fishing, which a lot of people love it or hate it. That's fine, whatever. And that was my intro to fly fishing. And then I lost a big rainbow, and then I got into Western fly fishing, and that was the start of the obsession. That was the rabbit hole. Was awesome. losing that rainbow. It was my first, 14 plus fish, and I lost it. And once I got that first Western rod, it was done. That's all I've ever thought about.
Crazy you can pinpoint it to one fish that got you hooked. No pun intended. Is that a dad joke? That was like a dad joke.
I love it. It'll work. We'll go with it. It's a Joe joke. That's what we'll call it.
It's a Joe joke. We got a Joe joke. We got a guy that'll make some appearances on this show that is the king of dad jokes. His name is Patrick Berry. He'll be on once in a while.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you land in East Tennessee. You got that going on. You start getting into fly tying. Why don't you talk a little bit about StoneFly Outdoors, what you're trying to do here, and then we'll kind of go from there.
So the fly tying really started during COVID. A lot of people, for those watching, you want to save money tying flies. You're not going to. What you do get though is the satisfaction of, I've never had a kid. So if I did though, I would probably say that level of excitement from having a kid to catching a trout on a fly that you tied. I'm going to put it right there. But no, it's one of those things that, you know, when COVID hit, I had some time. I was unemployed. I was making money from, you know, disability and unemployment for lack of a better terms. And I bought a fly tying kit and got into it. And, you know, I thought the only rabbit hole was the fly fishing, but the fly tying is another rabbit hole. And again, I got obsessed with it. And that is what drove me. As far as in North Carolina streams, I'll say that. I want to have a pattern essentially for every stream that I go to in North Carolina. Okay. That was my obsession, was I can take, you know, prince nymphs, waltz worms, pheasant tail, hare's ear, all these other patterns, and I can kind of combine some stuff. And I want to come up with a pattern it's going to work in every stream that I go to. So that became my obsession. And I ended up, I tied flies for customers before my company was actually made. One of my customers was the big driving force behind doing my LLC, doing the actual, you know, I guess doing the taxes on my company. And I tied him. He's a customer in Virginia. I carry around a thank you note that he wrote for me. I was about 4 miles away from a rod that he was buying. And it was right after I sent him a really big order of size 20 and size 18 pheasant tail nymphs. And again, you know, we talked about that rainbow that I missed as being that. This is this is why I do what I do, is I tied that order for him. Then I picked up this rod from a guy that's 4 miles from my house. Yeah. And, you know, I sent it to him. He sent me a thank you note that was like, you know, thank you for the flies. Here's a picture of a fish that I caught with him. And, you know, it was just, that was right after I started my company. And that was the vindication that I needed, knowing this is the right decision. Nice. You know, I don't have a grandiose to make I don't care if I break even on my company. What I like to do is educate people on the water. I like to educate people tying flies. And it's just the education side of things, that excitement, that spark of magic is what drives me. I think
it's a good segue, right? Because one of the things we're going to do together here, and we should maybe go down that rabbit hole a little bit, right, is we're going to try to get into some education here. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a series. Chad, you might have heard about this. It literally kind of came around today. But what's the book, Bailey? That's so
the book is called The Little Red Book of Fly Fishing. And of course, you know, I'm gonna shoot a message to the author if I can. Essentially, The Little Red Book of Fly Fishing is the Cliff Notes version of fly fishing. It's what I want to do with it is that little red book of, I think it's like 400 little snippets, has taught me more than any, you know, again, I'm not bashing the author or bashing the company, but the Orvis books, these, you know, you know, whoever your famous fly fisherman, that little book has taught me more. And I'm going to start a series that I highlight one little snippet from every page every day, and we're all going to learn together. There's stuff from that book that I have forgotten that I'm going to learn with you. Like, you know, I tie flies. I still forget stuff. Like, if you say you know what you're doing, nope. Again, like we said the very first time we had a podcast, I can take you to a creek right now that's going to humble you.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how good you are.
I think I've been to like 3 of them in the last week.
Right. I mean, your Sea of S right now is crazy, and you know there's still fish to be caught. But what do you do to do that? You know, and that's the part that I want to bring in with this little red book is you're going to learn stuff. Even if you've been a guide, you've been fishing for 30 years, there might be one section that you just go, oh, well, I've never thought about that. And that's the game changer on the water. So
that's a great thing about fly fishing, right? Is there's pockets of knowledge everywhere. Pockets of knowledge get forgotten, don't get passed down, and you can find it everywhere. You can find it in every fly shop. You can find it around every bend when you get a chance to talk to someone. And I think that's what's going to be really cool about this thing we're going to do with you, man. Is you're going to go through that book. We're going to drop those snippets. We're going to produce little pieces, right? Little bite-sized nuggets of information, and we're going to put that out through StoneFly Outdoors and Joe Outdoors. Right. I think the other thing we're going to look at, right, is we got a bunch of people that are super interested in learning to tie some flies. Let's do it. I think that's going to be another thing that we're going to have a lot of fun doing is the basics, right? We're going to kind of go through that, and we'll just keep layering on, month after month, year after year, and continue a series there. So you're going to head that up within our team here. And and then obviously, we don't want to get lost on the fact that you do got your own business over there. You're tying fly for everybody. And so why don't we talk about a few of those things? You sent us some pretty hefty stoneflies, back in, I guess it was February. We haven't had a chance to use them quite yet.
You'll get them. You'll use them eventually.
I plan to. I think they're sitting in Chad's cases right now. So
did Chad stole them then, huh?
I did. Yep.
He's smooth, man. He's smooth.
They haven't seen any action, but they sure look nice in my pouch. That's for sure.
Listen, man. Sometimes the prettiest, quietest girl at the prom is the one you want to take out. So that's exactly what it is. It's just you're letting them stew right now.
Yep, exactly. Well, really, I got a question for you. From the moment you bought your first fly tying set to where you started feeling comfortable about the flies that you were producing, what's that time frame in there?
Oh man, 7 months, 8 months.
Gotcha. Okay.
I've always.
But what was your
welding? Go ahead. Sorry.
What was your frequency though, right? Because I imagine it has a lot to do with kind of continuity and frequency, right? Staying on task.
Yes and no. And this is what I've had a conversation with this with my buddy that doesn't even tie flies. He doesn't fish. He doesn't do anything, but he produces high quality like backcountry gear and all that stuff. So same kind of thing. He had that aha, that light bulb, that spark moment. I didn't tie a lot. Honestly, I was a very discouraged beginner fly tire. I wanted to listen, when everyone gets their fly tying kit or builds a fly tying kit, whatever it is, you're going to experiment. That's the end of the day. That's what it is. You're not going to say, I need to learn the basics. I need to tie a woolly bugger. I need to tie a pheasant tail. I need to tie a hare's ear. You're not going to do that. You're going to grab a bead and some chenille and this and everything else. And it's just going to be the ugliest thing you've ever seen. But you still kind of learn the basics by doing that, how in a palmer, and everything else. So I'm a perfectionist. That's just, that's who I am. That's what I am. I grew up welding, like doing art and stuff like that. So when I got into fly tying, it translated in a negative way, as crazy as that sounds. Is I would tie a fly and I'd look at it, and then I would look at what I was basing that reference off of, and it was just completely wrong. It was off, and I didn't know how to make it better to mimic what that fly was. And I did a job, like I said, I travel for work. I'm a millwright. That's what I do. And I was tying flies in Wisconsin. We were on a project up there, and I just couldn't do it, man. I couldn't dial it in. I was really discouraged. I almost sold everything I had. And then that project ended. I came home to North Carolina, and about 2 weeks after Wisconsin, I didn't tie for probably 10 days. I got the vise out, and I looked at a pheasant tail, or actually I looked at a hare's ear and tied it. And it was a light bulb. It was an aha moment. It was, oh, I get it. And that is when, again, talking about obsession, that's when it started. And I got it. When you're tying, less is more. Don't do a bunch of thread wraps. Just do the minimum that it takes. And once you get commercially tying, I can tell you in less time than it takes to actually tie the pheasant tail, how many wraps of thread, how many fibers of pheasant tail, how many wraps of wire it takes to tie one of my pheasant tails. And that's the point that I'm at now. And it happened very quickly. It was probably 7 or 8 months. I went from first time tying to my first order.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So I got a question then, on the heels of that, how much money do you think you invested in the early portion of that to get going?
Whew, man. So I tie with the Renzetti Traveler. It's not a stupid expensive vise, but it does a great job for what it is. A lot of professional tiers that have been doing it for 30 years, they've only tied on one vise, and it's a Traveler. So I invested, we'll call it, I think it was $279. We'll call it $300. Mm-hmm. That was my biggest one-time purchase. Getting into it, you can do it. This is my message to people that want to get into it. You can do it for $200. You can be tying your own flies. You can be tying woolly buggers and, Pat's rubber legs and everything else. $200. Just get a basic vise. You can have a list of fly tie materials, or you can just buy a pre-made kit. That's what I did. I bought a hairline kit, and then I bought the vise. But from where I was to when I took it serious was probably a $4,000 to $6,000 investment.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was because I went down the rabbit hole. I saw a video that I needed material, and if this material had 8 different colors, I bought all 8 of them. And that was, yeah. But realistic price, if you're trying to get into fly tying, $200.
Okay. So that's an entry level. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's, we'll probably cover some more of that, more in depth when we get into this series. Right. And, I think the vision around that's going to be, the basics, the starters, the explanation, the reason, right? The rationale to tying your own flies, which I still have yet to experience. And I think, Chad, it's, the main reason you want to do it, right, is we want that pure experience of tying something and catching something. And, that's, I think, what we're after. And I think that's what that series is going to be derived around, right? Is we want to help someone get there.
So what I'm going to do, and I've been thinking about this for a while, I'm involved on a bunch of Facebook groups. I'm a couple of them, I don't want to say like well-known. I don't want to give some sense of grandiose, but a contributor to a few Facebook groups. And what I will do for the Joe Outdoors for StoneFly, I'm actually going to do a basic kit. Like if you don't want to buy a kit, I'll make a list. It's going to be 4 fly patterns, and it should be cheaper than that $200 mark. It should be. So, yeah. But I'll get that posted and sent to y'all in the next 2 weeks.
Well, I think that'll be a good addition to that, beginner of that series, right? We'll be able to kind of pass that out to folks. I bet, Chad, you're going to take them up on that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've had this kit that I've had for a long time. I think we're going on maybe 5 years, still in the original box. I'm scared to pull it out. So it's time.
Dude, don't be scared. Honestly, my 2 cents to new tires, to people wanting to get into it, the thread that you're going to get in your kits, it's good, but I'm the person that believes in, if there's an advantage, put yourself in that advantage. So the thread is always the big downfall for kits. So when I make my list, it's going to be all Simperfly Nano Silk. I tie with 12-aught, which is tiny. I mean, it's one of the smallest threads you can tie with. And I've tied streamers with 12-aught thread, and I can crank on it, whip finish it, do everything. That's my one advice for today with what we're doing. Buy thread, buy good thread. Everything else will come after the fact. Buy good thread to start with. So you create that habit, just like with our rut marches, with our workouts. If you create that habit from day one, it becomes natural. So when you start buying good thread, you're always going to buy good thread, and your flies are going to look better.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, let's not go any further there, because I think we've kind of laid out what we're doing with you kind of, on the side here is, that series, couple of different series, right?
Yep.
And we'll have some people I'm sure are going to take advantage, but
sprinkling all the series out there.
Yeah. Let's maybe shift gears a little bit. So,
yep.
We met you via Instagram.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Yeah.
All social media. We've never even met in person.
I know, man. And you've basically fished in our backyard too, which is kind of frustrating. So,
yeah, right there in the pooter, man.
Yeah. In fact, we got a couple of guys locally that were like, "Hey, when that guy comes to town, like, can you let us know?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, man." But it was kind of an interesting give and take, right? We had some great conversations. We did some good Instagram stuff. We did a nice IG live or two together. We had fun with one of those Instagram lives where we did some conspiracy cryptid stuff, and
love it with Robbie.
With Robbie, who will be on the show. Joe Gets Weird, our spinoff where we get real weird, and probably have a little bit more of that.
It's gonna take a little bit of that.
It's gonna take a little bit of that to get there. But I think what I want to kind of express is, the value that we found in this growing community that's just kind of surrounding StoneFly and Joe Outdoors, and a number of the other guys you're going to see on this podcast. This cool little community here, and I think I'd like for you to maybe speak to what it is about the great outdoors that seems to bring these dudes together around the country.
The magic, the brotherhood. I don't want to get like existential about it or anything. It doesn't matter what race, what creed, what belief, what color, what age. It doesn't matter what you are. When you put your feet in that water, we're all the same. It doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 50 years or that's your first time ever. That leveling, that equalizer is putting your feet in the water, man. Like that's my drive for my business. Why I do it for people is that spark, that magic. Like, I have met guys here in Pennsylvania. Yesterday, I went out and fished with a couple followers, and they've been fly fishing or fishing for trout in this area of Pennsylvania since they were born. Yeah. It was a dad and two sons, and we still bounce ideas off each other. Like, they wanted to learn more, and they know that I had a little bit of knowledge. So they asked questions and I answered it. But it's not even about I know more than you do. I'm giving you that knowledge that I want you to go down the rabbit hole as much as I have. I want us to hold it. Like we said when we were building this podcast, I want us to stand on the cliff and everybody hold hands and take a jump. and that's what it is for me when I meet people on the water. Again, I've met spin fishermen. I don't spin fish for trout. I do for bass, but not for trout. That are like, man, I've always wanted to learn. I'm like, dude, here's my card. If you want to learn, I have an extra rod for you. Let's go fishing. And it's just that knowledge and that magic and the experience that drives me. Yesterday, I had the most crazy hatch that's ever happened around me. I didn't catch a single fish, and it was okay. I saw, like, conservatively, probably 400 to 500 trout rise, eating these bugs, while I was covered from water line to this hat. I was covered in bugs. I didn't catch a fish, but it was fine because I got to experience that, man.
Yeah.
Like, how often can that happen? Like, it's just, it's creating the magic. I worked at a summer camp and create the memories. No matter how fleeting or how serious that memory is, like, when I come out there and fish with y'all, we might get skunked, but you know what? We went out, we fished, we met, we had a great time. And that's my drive. Whether I make money with my company or I don't make money, I want to pass that knowledge and that spark and that magic on to the next generation, or the generation behind me, or 2 generations behind me.
Yeah.
It might take me meeting someone on the water that might have been their last time, saying, I'm going to get fly fishing one more try. If it doesn't work, I'm done. Well, I might walk up and say, hey, man, have a drink out of the flask. We have a little shot of whiskey and we fish, and he catches fish and he's back into fly fishing. And that's why I do it, man.
Well, I think that's why we gelled so well, right? Because we got a story and a mission behind Joe Outdoors.
Always.
Pretty damn simple, which is we're just trying to learn, man. We're a bunch of, like Chad always puts it, professional outdoor amateurs. And, what we're here to do is just try to pass on that information, take in a lot of that information. We're the rookies over here. And, we've been out with a couple of guys recently that definitely showed me just how rookie I was.
Right.
Luckily, Chad wasn't there to laugh at me too. But I think that's what's so great about, the great outdoors and, angling, fly fishing in general, right? Is it, like you said, it's that leveling of the playing field, man. Like, the other day when I was out, I ran into a guide who had a couple of people out, another group of guys that I'm sure were, they were docks. They were driving some pretty nice rides. They're out there fishing. But, when we're all sitting there in our waders in the water, everybody's on the same, at the same level. And we're all looking at each other like, what are you using? What are you using? What are you grabbing? Hey, how are you going to hit that pond, that little spot over there, that ripple? And that's what's great about it, man. And that's, I think what's transferred into what Joe Outdoors is. Yep. We're just here to be that platform to try to bring the right guys in, pass along some great information, and along the way get better ourselves, right? So that we can pass that on to our kids and
100%.
kids, right? So that's why I think you're such a great fit, man. And I think it's, Chad could probably speak to this as well. It's why we're so happy to have you, as part of the team, man.
Dude, I'm glad. You don't understand how grateful I am to be a part of the team. Like, we've had off conversations that have nothing to do with fly fishing, nothing to do with Joe Outdoors. I've been able to call you or Chad and say, hey, man, I'm going through some stuff. Let's talk. And that's, it's creating that community, that brotherhood, that, when women involved, the sisterhood, it's creating everything. It just, we're just here. Yeah. We're just here to do us. Like yesterday when I was fishing with those followers, they're like, oh man, well, you guide, you do all this. I'm like, I said, that means nothing. It means nothing. And they're like, oh, well, you're going to catch a bunch of fish. I'm like, nope. It's nothing. It means nothing. And that's, and that's what I love about it is, I do have some knowledge, but I don't know these waters.
That's what's great, right? At any point.
And I'm relearning that magic for me is that I have to fish these waters different than I do back home. So when I catch a fish on something that I've never done back home, I'm just like, that's why I do it. Because I get that first fish feeling again.
Which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's the best part about fishing new waters, man. It's just it's all new when you get that hit and you snap it, man. It's crazy.
Yep. Man, I missed a hog day before yesterday. I said, all right, well, the next time I go about that hole, I'm gonna put some bigger line on. I wasn't expecting that. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, I think there's one other thing I want to touch on that, as part of this cast is, we've got a good community that we're building, but we're also part of some great communities. Yep. And we're all taking part in a little something right now. I saw both you guys posting some videos. I did some myself. In fact, I could barely get out of this chair if I had to right now because I did do a significant workout today from the guys over at Hunt, Lift, Eat.
Yep.
I think that's something else we just want to chat about real quick that we're going to bring into the fold on this cast, right? Is we're all about the great outdoors. We're all about fishing. We're all about hunting. We're all about having some drinks. We probably all eat some real good food, but we want to continue to do that for a while. And, so we're teaming up with the guys at Hunt, Lift, Eat, and we're putting together that little partnership to do the workouts that they got over there. You're jumping in.
Yep.
I like it. You started some rucks, right? How'd that feel?
Great. It's good to get back to it, man. I mean, it was I did 30 pounds but I think it was 4.73 miles and it didn't take long, man. And that's the thing is like, you get kind of discouraged, but nothing easy is satisfying and everything that's hard. Once you get to the end, you're like, all right, I did that. I did that.
It's a great part of it, right? And we had a great conversation, which actually went live, today, or it's out there in the podcast universe on Spotify with the guys at HLE. And that's what we talked about with Luke, right? Is it ain't about like getting all the way there. It's about just getting out there, getting started,
and,
just layering on week after week, month after month, year after year. And that's going to be something that we're going to weave into kind of the ethos of what we do here, right? Is, healthy mind, body, spirit, right? And,
that's all you can ask for.
We'll talk a little God, we'll talk some fitness, and then we'll definitely talk some hunting, fishing, hiking, and camping, right? And I think that's kind of what we're doing here. And
that's what I'm excited about, man.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
It's just some average guys that know a little bit about everything.
The jack,
we know enough just to get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Like enough trouble to lose at least 3 flies a day when I get out there. Yeah,
3, man. Those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump that number up.
That was all on one. That was all on one column that Chris tied for me, man. At Shed Outdoors, I felt terrible. I was like, man, I just lost 3 flies. Come on, what's up?
Even when I'm fishing by myself, on my river that I know like the back of I know that hole is 4 feet deep. What do? I put a 5-foot leader on it, and it's just like I'll lose 6 flies in that hole, and I'm just like, well, I caught that one fish that was 12 inches, so I guess it was worth it.
It was all good.
I lose $50 worth of flies, but let's do this.
Hey, speaking of that, right? We got. Let's see if we can get that up there. It's handy dandy.
That's a fly, man. I used mine yesterday. Yep.
I didn't have mine, hence the reason I lost my damn flies. We definitely want to give these dudes a shout out as we talk here, right? Because Bailey, you got some from him, and there we go. Let's get this back up here.
Also, if you want to purchase it, go to Fetch a Fly on Instagram, send him a message. Great guy.
Yeah, man, definitely go direct to him, right? Because he sells like on Amazon and all them spaces, right? But if you really want to support him and don't let all of that corporate America crap steal his money, right? You go direct to him, DM him, get hooked up, and get one of these things. Chad,
give him a day to respond. If you want it, send him a message. Give him a day to respond. He will respond. He always does.
He always does.
Always He'll get does. You. And that's what I love about him. Is I actually got mine. I sent him a message, and this is, I guess, my little StoneFly flex. But I sent him a message. I said, "Look, man, I love seeing your product. Let me know how to order it." He actually he sent me one. Like, this is the kind of guy he is. Is that
he's a good dude?
It's not one of those like, this is my product, use it and promote it. This is my product, and you see that you need it. So use it, man. Just do your thing.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about him. He's such a cool guy, really humble. And I used it yesterday. Unfortunately, it was such a hard hook set. I didn't get it back. I didn't get it back, but it's nothing against his product. It was just, man, it was a hard hook set.
It is what it is.
Got in. Hey, it happens, man. It happens.
So real quick, a little bit more there. We're pretty stoked because I think we told you about, we got that fishing tournament here in Colorado coming up for Mark, our brother, literal brother for Chad, one of my brothers, my cousin, one of my best friends, and we're actually part of that kit, right? We're gonna have one of these, and I think we got a little something from you in that kit too. Yeah.
I'm gonna give a dozen of my double bead StoneFlies. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 8 of my double beads, and I'm going to do 4 of my single beads, because there's times that double beads just too much.
Yeah.
Along with one of my fly boxes, some stickers, and whoever wins that drawing. So my hats are getting produced right now as we speak. Whoever wins that drawing, I'm going to give them a free hat of their colorway of their choice.
That's fantastic. We really appreciate that. That's great.
Yeah,
it's super cool, man. And we'll talk, some more about the tournament in the coming week or two, and we'll do some updates. We're actually going to do some live casts from up there. It's going to be pretty cool because that tournament allows all types of fishing for all types of fish in all types of areas. So that ought to be a good time. I'll probably spend more time behind the camera than I will a line, but we'll see. But we'll feature your stuff, right? We're going to feature Fetch a Fly. We more than appreciate you guys throwing in on that, man. And we'll
absolutely.
Keep
it's
everybody.
It's the least I can do, man. It's the least I can do.
Yeah, we just got to make sure we got to make sure you're out here next year for it.
No.
Yeah.
I will definitely be out there next year, regardless of what I'm doing. So
we'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out.
100%. So,
well, I think given our time and the fact that you're a regular part of this show, and we just want to give everybody a little bit of history, a little bit of the present, and a little bit of where we're headed, I think we accomplished that. Chad, what do you say?
Oh, absolutely, Bailey. You've been I'm really glad we got to meet you. When we, you were one of our first interviews, and we were, Justin, I'm going to throw us under the bus, but we were scared shitless. And the chemistry, everything that had unfolded from that was amazing. And, I'm going to get a little mushy, but I lost my brother in 21. I gained a brother in 23. You're my, we're really glad to have met you and call you one of our own.
Yeah, 100%. I don't have a brother. I do have a sister, but I have a very small friend group, and y'all are in that group. So, yeah, again, we've never met in person. This is what I love about what we do, is that you don't have to have that in-person connection to know that these are just good people, man.
Yeah.
Try it, baby.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yep. 100%.
All right. Well, I think if that's the case, I think we go ahead and wrap it up here. But before we do want to send everybody out to your spot, right? So where's the best place to find you, brother?
StoneFly Outdoors on Instagram. If you want some flies, hit me up on there. That's my easiest. We're getting a website built right now. Again, Facebook, StoneFly Outdoors, Twitter, StoneFly Wild on Twitter. But yeah, StoneFly Outdoors for pretty much everything, man.
Right on. And obviously, if you can't find him there, but you know where we're at because you watch this, hit us up and we'll connect you directly to Bailey, guys.
100%.
Hey, appreciate you coming on. I am looking forward to learning how to tie some flies.
Bro, I got you.
All right, brother.
We'll do some basics. So good seeing y'all. Again, everybody, thank you for the love. Give love to Joe Outdoors. Let's all do this together.
I love it, brother. All right.